Good morning. This morning, I'd like to ask you to cast your mind back, way, way back, to those days when we used to have parties. Do you remember those? It's kind of a room where a lot of other people get together and have conversations and maybe share a drink or two. Yes, dimly, you can recall parties. Well, as you recall from parties, often you find yourself in one little conversation corner with one or two other people, and there might be 10 or 12 other conversations going on, and it might, in fact, be generally quite noisy. But you're focusing in on the one or two people you're talking to, and you're not listening to that background noise. It's just a din that's out there until you hear someone speak your name. Then all of a sudden your little ears perk up and you realize that even though you weren't paying attention, your brain, your senses were taking in all of that information and mostly ignoring it, but able to pick out the important stuff. The reason I bring this up is that I had the opposite thing happen to me, little more than a month ago at the last in-person Western Area Council meeting. Someone was trying to get my attention, and they were doing the obviously smart thing to do, which is to call me by name. And they weren't able to get my attention until they pretty much had to shout my name. It wasn't a particularly noisy room, but my hearing has just gotten that much worse, even with my hearing aids. Now, those of you who know me know how badly I hear. But what you may not know is that in addition to my bad hearing, I also have tinnitus, which is always masking the very things I'm trying to hear with funny noises. For me, the most typical sound that I hear 24/7 is something like somebody with a leaf blower just outside your window. Kind of a dim but annoying whine humming noise. Anyway, it interferes with my ability to hear even my name. Now, I'm not bringing this up just to complain, although I'll do that too, but because I was reading John chapter 10, in which Jesus talks about being the good shepherd, and this very thing came to mind, that Jesus says that he calls his sheep by name. His sheep hear his voice and they follow him. And I realized that just like I couldn't hear my name being spoken in that area council meeting, there are times when we fail to hear ourselves being called by Christ because the noise around us. Sure. And that's why it's important for us to escape that from time to time. But perhaps the biggest reason we fail to hear Christ calling is not the noise around us, not the activity of our lives, not the busyness and the frenetic pace, but the noise that's inside us, the voices that just don't shut up, the wondering and worrying, the self-doubt and criticism, all the things that are always being spoken inside our head. And so it's crucial for us to not only come to a place of quiet, but to still ourselves internally so that we might hear the voice of Christ. Because when Christ calls us, he always calls us to a place of love and joy and peace. Amen.